This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Let's talk about the next match. It's John Cena and Seth Rollins for the United States title. And believe it or not, John Cena wins in 16 minutes. Meltzer would say another great match between them, but my God, Cena's punches were horrible looking. Rollins tried an attitude adjustment, but Cena got out of it, used a reverse power slam, a leg slice off the top rope, and the attitude adjustment for the pin. Excellent, but not at the level of their SummerSlam match. 4 stars. So even though, Meltzer was a little critical of some of the work here, it still won the best match poll. He still gave it 4 stars. Big match. John strikes again. You were probably the agent for this one. What'd you think?
Well, you can look back and go, all right, if you were the boss and you were sitting in the big chair, what would you have done? Now, your business, we've already discussed, is down a little bit during this time, right?
Yeah.
So you go into this thing also with a guy in the main event who is one of the WCW guys, Stinger, which is in the next match. This would be his second time being seen. So if we backed up, John Cena has been world champion 15 times.
Yeah. At this point, he's been 16 times.
16 times. Okay. And we're going for the U.S. title. The world title's not up. It's just the U.S. title, right?
That's right.
So, you know how I'm about the what ifs. I'm crazy about what ifs. Makes you think. So Seth Rollins, is a guy that is a technician and a mechanic and a thinker and all those things, and he can go out and tear the joint down with anybody. So let's just say Seth maybe needed the win more than Cena. What if Seth won? Okay, now he's still got both championships. Not going to kill John Cena off. You move into that match with Sting fresh, and lo and behold, at the end of that thing, Conrad, after a hell of a match, what do you think happens? What would be the most dynamic, shocking, feel-good moment you could possibly have at the end of the night?
I don't know.
Sting beats Seth Rollins for the world title.
Oh, of course.
Seth's still the U.S. champion, that he can fall back on that as part of his bragging rights. But the way it laid out, I believe, was Seth went over. Wasn't it right? Correct?
Yeah, Seth's going to win.
On Cena.
Yes.
Or Cena won. Cena won the match. What did he win with? An AA? And then he dropped Seth and he was down afterwards.
Yep.
So when Sting got there, he already had a damaged champion to start the match with, right?
Yes.
Seth fought through all of that, overcame a bona fide superstar, and won. Now, what about that incredible display of courage and adversity that he went through and overcame, and starting with being dropped by a guy that's not even in the match, so you got to climb uphill the entire way. You know what you got at the end of the night after he beat Sting? You got a baby face. You don't have what's to not like about that guy,
right?
Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
he's in one night he overcame all the odds, from 2 superstars and managed to retain. So I think you failed. He's got no heat after that. That's for sure. I mean, he's to be admired. If you'd have went the other way with it, I think you have, something that no one thought would have happened, especially after Sting losing his first match. I think after you lose 2 in a row, pretty much diminished the value. If I'm sitting there, I'm probably just going to go, well, I guess, his time has passed. And I don't think that's what you want to leave the night with, because it could have been just till the next pay-per-view. Seth exercises his return. it could have, I don't know how long the next pay-per-view would have been after that, pay-per-view. Got a little slack about saying pay-per-view from the missus. Pay-per-view. I don't know how long ago that would have been to the next one. What, maybe 4 or 5, 6 weeks? Tops, 3 maybe? But boy, you could have left it on Sting for 3 weeks and you could have really shocked the audience, shocked the wrestling world, and shook a lot of things up. Just my opinion.
No, and you're exactly right. It would have been a feel good moment. We know we're not exactly going to get that, but before we talk about the Sting match, let's talk a little more about the Cena Seth Rollins. What do you think of Meltzer's critique here that Cena's punches were horrible looking?
I don't know. I would have to see them to see, but usually Meltzer doesn't single something like that out unless it really was glaring. I don't know. Like I said, I would have to see it to see and critique it. I mean, John didn't have the greatest punches of all time at any point, but it's one of those things again, ask any 10-year-old kids in the audience, Cena got any holes in anything, any chinks in his armor, anything he doesn't do well? I don't think they would say he throws a lousy punch. So it didn't matter to them. And that was the goal. That was his target audience, the kids.
Talk to me a little bit about working punches. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about this, but it does feel like that may be becoming more and more of a lost art. Every now and again, we'll see some clips on social media where, well, it's a little less than awesome. What's the trick to a good working punch?
It's about a quarter to a half an inch from knocking your head off.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Pull it up a quarter and a half an inch away, and it looks like it knocked your head off, but not so bad, really.
How do you practice that? I think Flair has told us before on the podcast that one of his mentors told him to tie a string to a lampshade and just practice punching it until it didn't move.
I'm sure that was probably somebody that was just going to rib him into seeing if he would do it. And I bet the guy sat out by his apartment with the lights off with a case of beer and laughed his ass off watching him do it.
Tremendous. What's the Arn Anderson way of making sure that you've got it down pat?
Throw a lot of them every day for about 1,000 days. That'd be about 3 years. Let's just say 900. That'd be three years of working 300 days a year and throwing them and making sure you were paying attention. Reps, 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 like anything else, like jumping rope, riding a bicycle, developing good penmanship, you name it, whatever the skill is, reps and concentrate. Make it a goal to make those good, whatever it is. If you're going to drop kick, do 1,000 drop kicks until you get it right. And if it's not good by then, guess what? Do what I do. Don't drop kick.
Talk to us about, Seth Rollins as John Cena's opponent here. Oftentimes people say, oh, I loved, say Flair Steamboat or Flair Funk or whatever. People have like their favorite duos. Who do you think John's best opponent was? Do you think Seth Rollins makes the short list? Did you like his stuff? Did you know, oh, if he's in there with Randy Orton, it's going to be great? Or if he's in there with Seth Rollins? Or do you think John had a favorite opponent, at least from your standpoint? You're not necessarily who he liked watching him with, who you liked watching him with.
Yeah, I think Randy's a good pick. The fact that they came along at the same time, had parallel careers. I think they always made for a great match. Seth Rollins can have a match with anybody. I don't think he gets enough credit. He's like, a lot of talent. He gets so good that it's not even a question when you sit down, you go, I wonder if Seth's going to be on tonight. He's never not on. And he's so good all the time, you almost take it for granted. It's like AJ Styles. They are just so good. You just expected out of them. If they had one stumble step in a match, you would go, damn, what happened?
Right.
You would actually notice it because everything else is flawless. But I would probably say those two are your leading candidates.
Yeah, I would agree. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.